4:50 a.m. A man in a stolen straw hat stands where the captain should stand. Below the deck, 17 people hold still against the engine's hum. Ahead waits the black mass of Fort Sumter. The guns answer to one thing only: the correct whistle, at the correct second. A sentry's lantern swings toward the bridge. "Give the signal," a voice breathes behind him. His hand finds the cord. One wrong note, and the harbor closes over every one of them. He pulls. The sound cuts the dark. Long, short, long. The lantern halts. For 3 seconds, the wall gives back nothing. Then a shape shifts on the parapet, slow, deciding. He does not blink. His hand returns to the cord for the second signal, the one he has never been allowed to test. The coffee was still too hot to drink. 6:52 a.m., a Tuesday, like the 4,000 before it. Your phone lit up against the counter. The message said, "Your role was eliminated, effective today, after 19 years of arriving first and leaving last." You set the mug down, steam still climbing. The mortgage did not pause to grieve with you. The world keeps billing you while you blink. 2,340 leaves the account on the 1st. The orthodontist, the car note, the deductible. Your daughter's tuition deposit is due in 11 days. Your chest tightens before the mind assembles the total. You open the savings tab, a figure that will not reach past March, and the arithmetic moves faster than the lungs can follow. Count the days you actually have, not the ones you wish for. A man in a charcoal waistcoat watches you from 9 years ahead. At 54, I lost the firm, the house, the kid who stopped answering. I signed the death certificates of bankrupt companies for 31 years. I will not soften it. Comfort is the lie that kept me bleeding longest. I found a dead emperor's journal in a liquidated box. Stop waiting for rescue. Nobody audits your ruin but you. I liquidated 207 companies in 3 decades. Most did not die from one blow. They died in the months they spent waiting for a perfect moment. The calendar never delivered. The owners always had a window. 30 days, sometimes 90, when one decisive move could have saved them. They studied the water until the water swallowed them whole. The cost of waiting is paid in full eventually. Charleston, 1862. A harbor that turned men into property. One pilot knew every sandbar and signal in that water. Robert Smalls, 23, steering the ships that held him. He worked the wheel for the people who owned his hours. The machine does not need chains when it owns your only skill. Learn the machine that owns you. Knowledge is the one thing it cannot repossess. Count the small thefts. The wage he never saw. His name spoken like a command. The door he entered last and left first. Each was a line item in a ledger no court would ever read aloud. Smalls memorized them without letting them harden into the kind of grievance that fogs a man's judgment. Keep the receipts. Do not let them keep you. Here is what I learned auditing the dead. Opportunity does not knock. It opens a gap and shuts it on a schedule you do not set. Smalls saw his forming weeks ahead. What he did inside 4 hours one May morning would rewrite his next 60 years. But that part comes later. Watch for the gap before it widens enough to feel safe. The perfect moment is a story cowards tell their mirrors. Conditions are never fully ready. The data is never fully in. I watched a man hold a buyout offer for 16 days, waiting for certainty, until the buyer walked and the bank foreclosed. Smalls never waited for certainty. He waited for the specific window his preparation could exploit. Readiness is a verb, not a state you wait to arrive. I keep an old phone in a drawer. It holds one missed call from a Thursday 7 years ago. The screen is cracked. The number still glows when I charge it. For one long stretch each night, I let myself look at the thing I cannot redial, the hour I cannot re-enter, the silence I built with my own waiting. Some windows close for good. Act before yours does. Fear wears a good suit. It calls itself prudence, due diligence, clarity. I used those words for years while my firm bled out one client at a time. The most expensive lie is the reasonable one you whisper at 2 a.m. Miss, Smalls could have called his plan reckless and slept safe. Instead, he split real danger from the fear that only mimics it. Name your fear before it. Name's your ceiling. The system runs on your stillness. Every late fee, every lapsed window, every deadline you let pass, that is its revenue. I build by the hour to dismantle people who froze. Inertia is not neutral. It is a position that pays everyone except you. Smalls understood that doing nothing in that harbor was itself a choice with a body count. Refuse the default. Stillness is a decision you keep making. He studied the captain like a forger studies a signature, the exact tilt of the straw hat, the cadence of each whistle past each fort, the way the man stood when sentries looked his way. Reconnaissance is courage, with a notebook, patient, unglamorous, lethal when the moment finally calls. Master the details now. Improvisation is only what unprepared men call luck. Most men run the coward's arithmetic. They multiply the risk, divide the reward, and conclude tomorrow is safer. Tomorrow is where ambition goes to be quietly buried. Smalls ran a different equation. The cost of one bold dawn against the cost of a lifetime owned by other men. What he loaded onto that ship before sunrise would silence a Confederate harbor. Stop pricing your fear, price your inaction. Everything you hold is on lease from fortune. The house, the title, the kid who once called every Sunday. I learned it in a courtroom, signing away a company that wore my name. The sea was always going to take things back. It does, on its own schedule. What stays yours is the work done in the hours still in your hands. Spend them on your part. 4105 a.m., May 13th, 1862. Smalls pulled on the captain's straw hat and took the wheel of the CSS Planter. Aboard, 17 people and a hold of stolen artillery. The window was this wide, the hours between the officer's leaving and the dawn that would expose him. He did not pray for a kinder sea. He worked the only one he had. Find the exact edges of your window before you move. He sorted the morning into 2 columns. His to control, the hat, the whistles, the steady hands, the calm face at each checkpoint. Not his, the tide, the moonlight, the chance a sentry had slept badly. He poured everything into the first column and refused to bleed energy into the second. Divide your crisis into what you touch and what you cannot. Then touch only the first. The straw hat was not a disguise. It was a decision to fill a role completely. Marcus wrote that a man's worth equals the worth of what he commits himself to. Smalls committed to the pilot's every gesture as if born to it, because half-acting the part would have gotten 17 people killed. Do not perform your task. Inhabit it until no seam shows. His hands did not stop shaking. He made them do the work anyway. Courage is not the still hand. It is the shaking hand that finds the cord and pulls on time. The molars grind, the collar grows damp, the fingers move regardless, because the people below deck cannot afford a flinch. Stop waiting to feel ready. Move while the tremor is still in you. Fort Sumter rose from the dark at 4003. One whistle stood between the planter and its own guns. He gave the signal. Long, short, long. The sequence he had memorized, but never been allowed to test. The fort held silence for the length of 3 heartbeats. What moved in those seconds decided everything after it. Rehearse the move you will only get to make once. This is the part the brave-sounding stories miss. Smalls was not gambling. He had counted the guards, timed the tide, memorized the codes. Recklessness throws the dice. Judgment waits until the odds bend, then commits without a flinch. He prized well-timed judgment over the thrill of the leap. And that line is the whole difference between a plan and a casualty. Earn your boldness with preparation, or it is only noise. Seneca wrote from exile, stripped of everything but his pen. He said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality, and that a wise man bets only on what cannot be taken. Smalls staked nothing on the tide's mercy. He staked everything on the cord, the hat, the timing. Surrendering the sea is not defeat, it is refusing to lose twice. Place your bet only where your hands reach. A sentry waved from the wharf. Smalls lifted his hand the way the captain always did, unhurried, almost bored. Below deck, 17 chests held a single breath. The calm on his face was not the absence of danger, it was a tension so complete there was no room left to shake. Watchfulness crowds out dread. Train your attention onto the task until fear has nowhere to sit. Marcus Aurelius ruled the known world and buried 8 of his 14 children. The most powerful man alive could not control a fever in a small body. He wrote his way through it, reminding himself what was his to govern and what was never going to be. I read that passage holding a phone that will not ring. Even emperors only get the next whistle, never the sea. The hull slid past the gun batteries at quarter speed. 40 cannon, all silent, all aimed at nothing in particular yet. For 6 seconds the only sound was water folding against iron and the slow knock of his pulse. Nobody on deck moved. The moment a plan survives contact is the moment preparation pays its dividend. Do the small thing right, the large thing follows. Here is the asset no creditor can seize. However small the window, there is always a next action. A whistle, a turn of the wheel, a steady hand on the throttle. Smalls never tried to control the war or the dawn. He controlled the next correct move, and then the one after that. Stop reaching for the outcome. Reach for the single act in front of you. Now the merchants arrive. They print tidy slogans about control on coffee mugs and charge 49 each. They sell the calm and delete the danger that makes calm worth anything. Smalls did not buy serenity. He earned it at gunpoint in the dark, with lives in the hold. A philosophy stripped of risk is only decoration. Test every comfortable idea against a morning that could kill you. The corruption is subtle. A vague gospel of letting go becomes a permission slip to control nothing at all. I met men who meditated on acceptance while their families drowned in debt they would not face. Surrender is for the sea, not for the cord in your hand. Detachment that excuses inaction is cowardice in a toga. Release the outcome, never the work still yours. Let me indict myself. At 51, I held a turnaround plan that worked on paper. I waited for the board, the lawyers, the perfect quarter. 3 windows opened and I let each one close. By the time I felt certain the firm was a corpse and I was the man who signed it. The framework fails when preparation becomes another word for delay. Preparation has an expiry. Spend it. The opposite failure is louder. I watched a founder bet the company on instinct, no recon, no timing, and call it courage. He mistook a pulse rate for a strategy and took 40 employees down with his ego. Smalls was the inverse. Boldness bolted to weeks of cold arithmetic. Reckless and frozen are the same disease in different masks. Aim between them, prepared, patient, then decisive. Smalls reached the Union fleet by 6 a.m. He had freed himself, his family, and 17 souls in under 4 hours. The world called it a triumph, and it was. But what freedom cost him in the years that followed? The things courage cannot refund is the part nobody prints on the mug. Win your window and still expect the bill. Some prices come due long after the victory. Before that dawn, he was property with a wheel in his hands. After it, he piloted for the U.S. Navy, bought the house he was once enslaved in, and sat in Congress. One window, worked correctly, bent a whole life onto a new track. Yet the man who lost everything that same decade was the same man. A single decision can redraw the map and still not spare you grief. Here is what the flood does to a brain. Under threat, cortisol narrows your vision to a tunnel and steals the very judgment you need most. Smalls beat that chemistry with rehearsal. When the body floods, trained hands keep running the routine, the mind is too swamped to compute. The protocol I'm about to give you is built for exactly that flood. Automate the right move before the storm hits. The posters promise mastery and skip the funerals. Sometimes you read every signal, time every tide, pull every cord on cue, and the sea takes the ship anyway. Courage does not guarantee the harbor. It guarantees only that you spent yourself on your part and kept your name clean. Do the work for the doing, not the trophy. The outcome was never in the contract you signed. Musonius Rufus, the teacher who shaped Epictetus, said, "Virtue is not admired but practiced, a craft drilled until it lives in the hands." Smalls did not summon courage that morning. He had forged it in silence for months. You do not rise to the occasion, you sink to the level of your rehearsal. Train the response now, so the moment finds it already built. I want to say something to the man who did everything right and lost anyway. You are not a failure. You are a person who pulled the cord while the sea did what seas do. There is a quiet dignity in the one who acted with everything he had and still went under. Forgive yourself for the tide. Honor yourself for the whistle. Carry both and keep moving. An auditor learns one truth above all. The timeline never lies, but it holds you accountable only for your own entries. You answer for the signal you gave, the hour you chose, the preparation you did or skipped. You do not answer for the weather, the war, or the other man's hand. Read your ledger honestly. Then close the book on everything that was never yours to write. Now the practice. Because theory dies in the harbor. Take your current crisis and find its exact edges. When does your window open? When does it slam shut? What specific action lives inside it that no one can perform but you? Write those 3 answers on one index card tonight. A vague emergency paralyzes. A mapped window gives your hands somewhere to go. Draw a line down a page. On the left, what your hands can touch. The call you can make, the document you can file, the skill you can sharpen. On the right, the tide. Markets, other people, the past. Pour your whole week into the left column. The right column arrives regardless of how much you bleed for it. Work the left, release the right. Smalls's hands worked because they had drilled when nothing was at stake. Rehearse your hard conversation out loud. Run the interview before the interview. Draft the resignation, the pitch, the apology days before you need them. There is one more discipline after this that turns rehearsal into reflex, the nightly audit. Practice the move in calm, so the crisis only has to press play. Smalls did not steer to freedom. He gave one correct whistle, then the next, then the next. Stop staring at the whole impossible harbor. Name the single move that belongs to the next 4 minutes and execute only that. The voyage is just a chain of small, correct signals strung end to end. Shrink the task until the next link is the only thing you must do. Amor fati is not a tattoo. It is the brutal practice of meeting the result you did not choose without flinching or bargaining. Smalls could not know whether the dawn would expose him. He loaded the ship, gave the whistle, and accepted whatever the sea returned. Embrace the outcome after you have spent everything on the input. Love the fate you earned, not the one you wanted. Marcus closed each day with an audit. Where did I act on principle? Where did I let the tide make my choices for me? Not punishment, calibration, the way a navigator corrects course by 2 degrees before the error compounds. Sit for 4 minutes tonight and review only your own entries. Adjust the next signal, not the last one. Tomorrow you steer again. Sharpen the hand that holds the cord. Forget the single heroic leap. Courage in real life is a sequence. Small, correct decisions made on time, strung across years. Smalls's 4 hours were built from 1,000 quiet choices that came before dawn. The grand moment is only the visible tip of invisible preparation. Stop waiting for one brave act to define you. Stack the small ones until they carry the weight on their own. Know when the window shuts. Smalls did not linger in the harbor admiring his own nerve. The second the fleet came into sight, the operation was over. Pushing past a closed window is not courage. It is ego refusing to read the clock. There is wisdom in stopping the instant your part is done. Make your move, then step back and let fortune finish its sentence. After the cord, after the checkpoints, there is a strange quiet. The work is spent. The result is now the sea's business, not yours. Smalls stood at the wheel with nothing left to do but steer the last 100 yards and breathe. That stillness is not the absence of stakes. It is the peace of a man who left nothing in reserve. Empty yourself into your part, then rest in the doing. Smalls did not run alone. He carried 17 people who trusted his read of the water. The man who masters his window becomes the window for someone else. A spouse, a crew, a kid, watching how you handle the dark. What you build in yourself outlives the crisis that forged it and reaches further than you will ever see. Teach one person your whistles, then they carry the next ship. None of this works in the calm. The index card, the 2 columns, the nightly audit, useless until the fog rolls in and the guns go quiet and your hands start to shake. That is precisely why you build them now, in daylight, with nothing on the line. The tools you forge in peace are the only ones available in the storm. Build them before you need them. The sea does not negotiate. It will not be flattered, rushed, or reasoned with, and it owes you nothing. I spent years at war with a tide that was only being a tide. The day I stopped arguing with the ocean was the day I got my hands back. You will not win the sea. You were only ever meant to work your part of it. I still keep the old phone. The missed call is 7 years cold now, and I have stopped trying to redial the past. What I control is how I stand up today, whether I answer the next call before it becomes another silence in a drawer. The tide took what it took. The next whistle is still mine to give. Mend what you can still reach, while you can still reach it. 17 people crossed the harbor that morning into a life they could finally call their own. Countless others never got a window, or got one and lost. I will not pretend courage is a fair lottery. It is not. But the ones who acted within their hours left something the tide could not erase, a record that they pulled the cord. Honor the ones who made it without forgetting the ones who didn't. Let me be the auditor one last time and tell you the unprofitable truth. You will not control the outcome. Not the verdict, not the market, not whether the person you love picks up. What you control is narrow, and it is enough. The next correct, courageous, well-timed act. Stop demanding a guarantee the universe never offered. Give your whistle and let the harbor answer however it will. So here is the only order that matters. Tomorrow a window will open, narrow, badly lit, shorter than you would like. You will not command the sea around it, no one ever has. But the next whistle, the next correct move in the hours, still yours. That has always belonged to you. Smalls never ruled the ocean, he ruled the next signal. Now, go give yours.